Hello, in this video, we will write and run our first SAS program. First, what is SAS? SAS, previously, it is statistical analysis and system. But now, the company want to drop the connection between SAS and the statistical analysis system because the company think the SAS can do much more than statistical analysis. So now SAS is an integrated system for performing tasks such as the following. So data entry, retrieval, and management, report writing, and graphics. So these two items are the main topic we will discuss in this course. Additional to that, SAS can also do statistical and mathematical analysis, business planning, quality improvement, and many more. As a summary, so SAS can do data access, data management, data analysis, and data presentation. So in this course, we mainly focus on data access, data management, and data presentation. So in this course, we will use SAS Studio via SAS OnDemand for academics. So you can have free access to SAS OnDemand for academics. So it also provides a 5 GB online storage space. So it is a web-based integrated development system. So if you go to this link, okay. So then I click access. It says the site does not support current browser or browser version. So I'm use Mac Safari. But I just proceed anyway. So if you use Google Chrome, that should be better. Okay, so you need to sign in. So this is not your Auburn email. Okay, so you need to create a login. So then I launch SAS Studio. So wait for a while. So after you log in, so about SAS Studio, so you will be able to see 3 tabs. So code, load, log, and result. So let's see. It's still loading. Okay, yeah, so now it's on. See, from here you can see, so code, log, and the result. So code is just where you can type, so you can just write your SAS code. Log, so this is so for if there's any information, any error message or warning message, so SAS will display those information here. Result is, so if your code generates some output, so the result will be displayed here. Okay. So on the left, you can see, so this is files home, right? So basically you can just create folders and you can upload your SAS code here. So SAS provide 5 GB cloud storage space. Yeah, and so there are also some link or some option here, so you can explore. So we will use some of them later, probably. So we will explain those later. So when we need to use those. Right now, I think you only need to pay attention to the first one, so server files and folders, right? So this is where you save and organize your files on cloud. So if you want to write a SAS code, so you first need to create a SAS dataset. A SAS dataset is just like a rectangular table. Yeah, so something like that. So you have different rows and different columns. So each row corresponds to one observation. So it can also be called one case or maybe one subject. So each column corresponds to one variable. Yeah, so variable can also be called attribute or maybe covariate. Yeah, just in different scenarios. So this is typically just like you open Excel and so prepare your data, right? Yeah, so this is just called a data set. For a typical SAS program, so we will first create a SAS dataset and then work on it to compute statistics or maybe create a report, draw a graph, or build models. Okay. Yeah, so even if you just want to do very simple calculation like 1 plus 1, okay, so you need to create a SAS dataset and so put the result as one, basically one value, okay, so in that dataset. So this is our first SAS program. Yeah, so let me copy the program from my website to SAS Studio. Okay, yeah. So after you copy this program, so first you will see, so the text are displayed in color. Yeah, so different color definitely have different meanings, right? So like, see, those what I highlighted, so those are green text, so they are comments. Yeah, so comments are just written by you, I mean, supposed to read by reader, but not by SAS. Yeah, so when SAS run the program, so SAS will ignore those comments, okay? And so then the main text, you can see, so some are in the navy or some in blue, right? So those are called SAS keywords. Yeah, so usually so for SAS keywords, so it contains some specific meaning, okay? Yeah. So this is the SAS program. So program statement steps. So a program consists of many statements. So what is statement? Well, so one statement just like one sentence in a paragraph, okay? Yeah, so, but usually when you write a paragraph, you will end each sentence with a period, right? But now, so each statement here is ended with semicolon. Yeah, so this is one statement, this is one statement, so this is one statement, okay? Yeah, so in an article, so you may have a different paragraph, right? But in SAS code, so we have different steps. So steps, this is one step, this is one step, this is another step. So notice, so if you type SAS code here, so SAS will have some horizontal line here. You notice, see, horizontal line, right? Yeah, so basically, SAS just use those horizontal line to separate one step from another step. Yeah. So as we summarized here, right? So SAS program just like one article, and SAS statement just like sentence in article. And so SAS may have different steps. So there are two types of steps. So can be data step, can be proc step. So step just like paragraphs in an article. So data step are used to manipulate data. So you can read, write data, you can create data set, define variable, or create subset or combine data set, right? And so proc step are used to basically to produce, to compute statistics, generate a table, to do statistical analysis, or to do many more. Okay. Yeah. So we mentioned, so SAS may have two types of step. So either data step or proc step. So each step can begin with either data or begin with proc, right? So a step will end with run, right? Or maybe with the start of another step. Yeah, so like, for example, so this part, so there's no run here, right? Yeah, but we just start a new step, right? So then SAS will treat this as one complete step. Okay, yeah, so most step will end with run statement. Yeah, so like run and run, right? So occasionally, so for some step we discuss later, so it may end with quit. Yeah, with quit. Okay. So those are syntax, basic syntax rules for statement. So each statement usually begin with a SAS keywords. Yeah, so just those tags in in navy or maybe in blue. So those are keywords, right? So each statement start with that and so end with semicolon, okay? One statement may contain one or more options. Options is, see, for example, so this is an option, right? So this is a name of one pork step. Yeah, so option just provide some supplementary information to that procedure. Just provide instruction on how to process the code. Okay. So SAS statements are free format. Free format, well, so SAS statement can be upper or lower case. Here, so I want to emphasize SAS does not distinguish uppercase and lowercase. For example, so my preference is to write the code in lowercase, right? But if you write like in this way, data, right? So they are totally fine. So if you write this as a capital letter, so that's totally fine. Yeah, and see for those name of the variables, if I write a small letter and upper letter, so SAS treats them as the same. Okay. One or more blanks can be used to separate words. Yeah, so see, those usually I just use one blank. So if you use multiple blanks, so essentially they are the same. Yeah, so SAS does not distinguish that. So even if you use multiple line, yeah, so if you write your code in this way, and so totally fine. So will be the same as the original code I write in this way. Yeah, but usually so do not write the code in that kind of strange way. Yeah, so that will makes people difficult to read your code. Yeah, so they can be begin and end in any column. So like here, see, basically I start with several space. I do several space here. Yeah, so the reason is I think so this will looks better and will help me to read the SAS code. A single statement can span multiple lines. Yeah, I think just as I said, right? So if you write your code in this way, so that's totally fine. Yeah, but usually so not necessary. Okay. Several statements can be on the same line. Yeah, so like see, for these 3 lines, so you can put them in one line. So that's fine. Yeah, sometimes for short statements, so you can write them in one line. Yeah, so basically to save space. Usually, so we just write it in this way because basically one statement in one line. Yeah, so this will help us to read the code. Okay, yeah, so SAS does not distinguish uppercase in general. Yeah, but however, so text that are enclosed in quotation marks are usually case sensitive. Yeah, so you need to be aware of that. So we will emphasize that again later. So comments, yeah, so comments are just, as I said, so those are green text, so those are comments, right? So those are just provided for reader, for yourself or maybe for other human being. So if they want to read your code, so then they will usually, so for comments, you just provide some information on the purpose of the code, right? So if you write a code and after 6 months, when you look at the code again, so then it will help you to understand so why you write those code or why you write the code in that way, right? Yeah, so writing comments is a good habit of programming. For comments, so there are 2 types of way to insert comments. So you begin with this /* or end with */. So the other kind of way to write the comments is begin with the star, so then you can write something. This is a comment, right? So then you end this with semicolon, right? Yeah, so start with a star, end with a semicolon. So this is one way to insert comment. So the other way is like, so what I commonly used, so /*//. Okay. Yeah, so basically as long as you see the tags are in green, yeah, so means you are good. So the SAS recognize and they are comments. Okay, yeah, so SAS will ignore the comments when executing programs. Name of SAS dataset or variables. Yeah, so for each dataset or for each variable, so you need to provide a name, like, right, so those grades, so this is name of a dataset. So name, sex, exam 1 to exam 3, so those are name for variables. For those SAS names, so we should follow those rules. So first, it starts with a letter or a underscore characters. Yeah, so like each of them, so I start with a letter, right? So you can also write, see, this is also a legitimate name. So like under a underscore, right? Underscore name, so this is also a legitimate name. Subsequent characters must be letters, underscores, or numbers. Yeah, so I have name, see, I have numbers, right? But no blank or special characters. Yeah, so special characters means like a comma, semicolons, or maybe other special symbols, right? So they are not allowed. The name cannot be too long, so no more than 32 characters. Yeah, so usually, so this should be enough to use. So it can be uppercase, lowercase, or mixed case. So you can write the name in different cases, yeah, but SAS will recognize, SAS will treat them as the same. So what I mean is, so for example, so you have a variable called name, the other called name, the other is name, right? Yeah, so SAS will treat these three as the same. Yeah, so SAS do not distinguish upper, lower cases. Okay. So for example, like here, so on the left panel, so those are valid names, right? So it starts with either letter or either underscore. So it may contain letters, right? And or maybe underscore, or maybe those digits, right? So they are valid names. But on the right hand side, so those are invalid names. Yeah, so you may think, so why they are invalid? So I will pause for several seconds. Okay, so as you may see, so for the first name, so it starts with a number, right? So it is not a valid name. So for the second one, so it contains a special symbol. Yeah, so this is not a valid name. For the last one, see, it contains blank. So this is not a valid name. Yeah, so make sure to use valid name for dataset and the variables. Submitting your program. So before you submit your program, make sure to save your program, right? See, you just click this icon to save your program. You can save it to your cloud storage, right? So I just call this guy maybe first code, right? You can save it. Save it. Okay, yes. Well, so to run the code, you just click this icon, the first icon, see run all or selected code. If you run it, SAS will produce some output. Yeah, so the first piece of code, so basically SAS just, I asked SAS to create a dataset. So the name of the dataset will be grades, right? So the contents of the dataset will be this, what I highlighted. Yeah. And so this part just asks SAS to show the contents of a dataset. So I call it a proc print. Okay. So the last one, so this is proc means. So ask SAS to compute some summary statistics for 3 variables, for exam 1, exam 2, and exam 3. If you look at the result, right, so this is just the output of a proc print. Yeah, so it just shows the contents of the dataset. In total, we have 6 rows and basically several columns, right? This part is the output of proc means. So SAS by default, SAS compute will display the n is number of observations, and so the mean, standard deviation, minimum and maximum of each of the variable. If you create a dataset, so SAS will have a new tab, output data, right? You will be able to check basically the dataset you created here. Okay, yeah. So this is our first SAS code, I guess. So you know how to run the code, right? Yeah. Submit your program to run by clicking the icon in the toolbar. Submit the whole program or selected steps. So if you just click run, SAS will run all codes on this tab. So you can also run selected steps. For example, so I only want to run this piece, this step. So I highlight this step, I click run, right? So SAS will run only this part. Oh, I forgot to mention the log, right? So if you click log, you can see SAS will display basically. So this is a piece of information, the piece of SAS code you submitted to run. And SAS will also include some information, right? For example, see, there are 6 observations read from the dataset, right? So the procedure print used, and also some information, okay? Yeah, so save your program every time before you submit it to run. Yeah, so this is very important. A run statement tells us to process the code before it. So it means if there's no run, if you click no run, SAS will not run, right? So if, for example, you highlight this part, you click, oh, SAS runs. Yeah, I thought SAS will not run. In fact, I guess so this rule is for the old version of SAS, right? Yeah, but seems there's some difference between the SAS installed on your own computer and the cloud version. Yeah. So this one, well, even without a run statement, SAS runs. That's good. Okay, yeah, so that's good. Okay, yeah. So this is I just show you how to run your first SAS code. Of course, I believe so you have many questions about basically how to write this code. I think so we will begin to explain basically how to write the code and the meaning of each statement in more detail in next class. So right now, I guess it is fine and it is good, it is enough for our first code, for our first SAS program. So now this is in-class exercise. So I showed you to do it. So now it's your turn. I suggest you pause the video for a while, and so then you try those in-class exercise by yourself, and then resume the video. Okay. Okay. So now. I hope you've already tried those in-class exercise by yourself. So let's do it together. First, log in to SAS OnDemand for Academics, launch SAS Studio, and get familiar with the environment. Yeah, I think so. You need to do. You can do that. Also by those icons, right? I think so. The meaning. See, if you pose your mouse on top of the icon, so it will show, so there will be a text, so we'll show the purpose of each icon, right? You can see this is save, this is save as, this is program summary. Yeah, I think so you can try those by yourself. Okay, so type the code or copy paste in SAS Studio. Yeah, so I recommend you type. Okay, yeah, but to save time, so I will copy paste. So pay attention to the different color of the code in the in the code tab, right? So some are in green, some in blue, right? So then I just run the code. So then I ask you to check log message in the log tab. So we go to the log, right? You can see those are just the code you submitted, right? So then see for this piece of code, so the data set, so SAS create a data set, right? So has 6 observations and 5 variables, okay? Yeah, so also tells you so which statement is used. So then this is the second step. So it is prop print, right? So there are basically SAS tells you how many observations are read from which dataset. Okay, so also tells you which procedure is used. So this is the third step, right? So SAS says, well, so 6 observations read from this dataset, right? So the procedure means used. Okay, right. So basically make sure so you are able to read those information from the log window. Yeah. Read the output in the result tab, right? I think so we explained that already. Just make sure you will have the same result as me. Explore the information in the output data tab, right? So this is this part. Okay. Yeah. So basically you can compare the data with the contents in the code. Yeah, just make sure basically the data are loaded correctly. Well, so next one, so I just ask you to modify the code slightly, basically, and to observe, so what's the difference? Yeah. So first, remove the $sign. So see, there are $sign here, so remove the $sign, and so I want to see, so what will happen. So also write the semicolon in the end of the last line. You can see this semicolon here, so start in a new line, right? So, but I ask you to write it here. See, notice, so after you write this, immediately seems the color of the text changed, right? so then something will be wrong, okay? So the other one, see, I ask you to write the wrong statement in the same line as the previous statement. Yeah, so put the wrong here. So if you run it again, so first what you will see is, so for name and sex, so basically SAS cannot load the information correctly, right? So SAS just show a period here. Yeah, so it means something wrong. So the other thing you may notice is, so now we have 5 observations, right? So notice, so in the total data set, see A, B, C, D, E, F, right? So we should have 6 observations. Yeah, but now we have only 5 observations. For the prop means, so seems looks fine. Of course, it only compute summary statistics, use the 5 observations in the dataset. So if you go to the log, okay, so you may notice, see, seems there's something, yeah, but of course, so SAS didn't call this an error. Yeah, but I mean, SAS didn't stop running, right? Yeah, but SAS does indicate something, so may need your attention. Yeah, so this is basically, so just name and sex are not loaded correctly, right? Yeah, see, SAS has a error message here, right? Well, so this is just because, so you write the semicolon here, okay? For this part, that's fine, because it's okay to write multiple statement in one line. Well, so why, I mean, so after we do this modification, right? So why SAS cannot produce the same output as the previous one? We will explain this in next class. Okay, yeah, so that's all for this video.